So, if the intent of a rule is to stop goalie interference, having a skate in the crease when you score a goal may have to do with what exactly occurs. Now, today we're going to give a shortened version of the Brett Hill incident where he scored a goal with one skate in the crease in triple overtime in the 99 Stanley Cup Finals in Game 6 for Dallas that allowed him to upset a very, very balanced Buffalo team. Now, entering Game 6, Dallas had won Game 5 at Reunion Arena and were looking to wrap up in Buffalo. Now, when it shifted to Midland, the Dallas Stars again would seek the Stanley Cup, while the Sabres would fight for the win to extend the series to a seventh and final game. Now, Dallas, which allowed the first goal in the earlier two games played at Marine Midland, took a 1-0 lead on few scoring chances in the first period when Lettinen scored his 10th goal in the playoffs at 8:09. The Sabres tied the game with their first goal since the third period of Game 4 when Barnes' wrist shot eluded El Belfour with 1:39 to play in the second period. Their game remained tied at 1 through the third period and the first two overtimes, despite several chances by both teams to score. At 14:51 to turnover time, Hull scored to end the series and win Dallas their first Stanley Cup, basically formerly Minnesota. Joel Newendike was awarded the Conn Smythe Trophy as the most valuable player in the playoffs. Now, this was the longest cup-winning game in finals history and the second longest finals game overall after Game 1 of the 90 Stanley Cup Finals, which ended at 15-13 of the third overtime. Now, this was the first time since 94 that a cup did not end in a sweep. Now, just to break down again, in the third overtime, Yuri Lettinen took a shot from the left circle that was stopped by Dominik Hasek. Hull was not in the crease for the first shot. The rebound came near Hull's left skate, which Hull used to kick the puck to his stick, we were just outside the crease. His left skate entered the crease just before the second shot went in and ended the series. Now, as it worked back then, there was like a zone that players were not allowed in. But the idea was this was done to stop screening, not for a scram for a puck for a what I call a forward in front of the net. Now, none of the Sabres players or coaches questioned the legality of the goal in the immediate aftermath. It was not until League Commissioner Gary Bettman, that idiot, was on the ice to handle the trophies that Buffalo coach Lindy Ruff returned to the bench and began screaming at Bettman and explain why the goal had not been reviewed. In the Sabres locker room, players who had seen the replays were infuriated. Hasek recalled, my first reaction was, let's get back on the ice. But it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I look at everyone and it's like I'm already out of my pants. It's impossible. I watched the game, but if the intent of the rule is to not allow things like this to happen, again, you can't stop the forward momentum, and he wasn't making Hasek go off his game. Now, the NHL had previously sent out a private memo earlier in the season with a clarification of the in the crease rule. The memo stated that if a player was in control of the puck, a skate could be in the crease, even if the puck was not, and a goal in that circumstance would count. NHL Director of Officiation Brian Lewis said after the game that the goal had been reviewed, just as every goal that season had been, and the officials in the video review booth had determined that since Hull was deemed to have been in possession of the puck throughout the play, he was allowed to shoot and score a goal, even though one skate had entered the crease before the puck. Among Sabres fans, both the game and the play itself are often simply referred to as no goal. Now, did the best team win in the series? Yes. Multiple Hall of Famers on that Dallas team. Did Buffalo deserve to win that game? Yes, but you play in overtime and things happen. Brett Hull is not considered a dirty player. His foot was in the crease, sure, but it was an action involving the puck, and the letter of the law said that was allowed. But Lindy Ruff didn't have the brains to basically look at the possibility of asking the referee, could it have been a penalty rather than allowed a goal? Now, rules have been changed since then. Replay has worked. But ladies and gentlemen, at the time, that was the rules, and that's what happened. And too bad, so sad. Buffalo didn't deserve to win that series. They weren't the better team. It's the way it goes. Thanks for listening. Bye.